Hi there, let's have a look at the supernatural in Macbeth. This is one of the themes. Starting with the supernatural and the mind. Macbeth sees a dagger and Banquo's ghost, among other visions. These could be hallucinations or supernatural forces at work. Start with the dagger. Macbeth has visions throughout the play, such as a dagger before he kills Duncan. And he says, "Is this the dagger which I see before me?" in Act 2, Scene 1. This could be psychological, meaning it's of the mind, or they could be premonitions, which are feelings that something bad is going to happen. Macbeth is experiencing the supernatural. Because he has interacted with the witches, the audience might think that he has made himself vulnerable to evil. Banquo's ghost. A key supernatural event is when Macbeth sees the ghost of Banquo. He's the only one who can see the ghost. We could argue that this hallucination is a symbol of Macbeth's mind becoming more and more imbalanced because of the guilt he feels, as well as the overwhelming amount of power he suddenly has. Let's quickly recap that. What could have made Macbeth vulnerable to evil? Was it murdering the Thane of Cawdor, his wife controlling him, or his interactions with the witches? The correct answer is his interactions with the witches. What are Macbeth's visions? Well, firstly, there's a dagger, where he says, "Is this the dagger I see before me?" in Act 2, Scene 1. It could be psychological or it could be a premonition, and he made himself vulnerable to evil because he's interacted with the witches. Also, some people may think. There's Banquo's ghost. He's the only one who sees the ghost. And is it a symptom of his mind becoming more and more imbalanced from guilt? Now let's have a look at the supernatural and evil. It's important to remember the context of the play at the time. King James I believed in witches. Evil and could harm people. What was the role and significance of witches? They're the first characters the audience sees in the play. This shows that they're very significant to what is to come. They manipulate Macbeth to show the evil within himself. Manipulating meaning controlling to their advantage. Lady Macbeth and the supernatural. Lady Macbeth calls on spirits too. She does this like the witches themselves. "Come, you spirits that tend on mortal thoughts, unsex me here," she says in Act 1, Scene 5. She uses the imperative language, "come" and "unsex," which suggests that she thinks she has control over them. This labels her as an evil character who wants the supernatural things to happen to her. We don't know whether this is something she has done before or whether the opportunity to take the crown has made her want to try to contact them. But it could just be words. Perhaps she is simply showing how far she is prepared to go. Contact with the supernatural seems to cause the bad events of the play. Macbeth and Lady Macbeth only hatch the plan to kill King Duncan because the witches tell Macbeth that he will be the king one day. We could argue that without the witches, none of the events happened. So let's just quickly recap that. Contact with the supernatural seems to cause the events of the play. Macbeth and Lady Macbeth only hatch the plan to kill King Duncan because the witches tell Macbeth that he will be king one day. We could argue that without the witches, none of the events of the play would have happened. "Come, you spirits that tend on mortal thoughts, unsex me here." What are "come" and "unsex" examples of in this quote? Imperative verbs, possessive pronouns, proper nouns, or natural images. The correct answer is imperative verbs. A key supernatural event is when Macbeth sees the ghost of who? The correct answer is the ghost of Banquo. He's the only one who can see the ghost. We could argue that this hallucination is a symptom of Macbeth's mind becoming more and more imbalanced because of the guilt he feels, as well as the overwhelming amount of power he suddenly has. Let's quickly recap Lady Macbeth calling on the spirits. She says, "Come, you spirits that tend on mortal thoughts, unsex me here," in Act 1, Scene 5. Calls upon them like the witches. Uses imperative language, "come" and "unsex," suggesting that she thinks she has control over them. But what's her motive? Is this something that she's done before? Has the opportunity to take the crown made her try and want to contact them? Want to try and contact them, sorry? Or are they just words showing how far she's prepared to go? Macbeth's visions are a dagger and Banquo's ghost. Contact with the supernatural seems to cause the events of the play. Macbeth and Lady Macbeth only actually came to kill King Duncan because the witches tell Macbeth he'll be king one day. We could argue that without the witches, none of the events of the play would have ever happened.